Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that was released back in 2015. The fragrance is called Club de Nuit Intense by the house of Armaf. Now this fragrance was introduced to me and a lot of people have wanted me to go ahead and review this fragrance, but I always kind of pushed it off just because I've reviewed so many Aventus clones at this point. They are everywhere. There are companies that have been created to copy the fragrance of Aventus, and you know, I would arguably say that this Aventus is probably the most copied fragrance in the fragrance game at this point, where people are just really just trying to copy off of it intensely. But either way, I gave it a try just because I saw the price and I was like, you know what, I saw it for 25 bucks and I was like, why not go ahead and take the dive when I can go into it. So here I am with a review of Club de Nuit Intense. Now, as just a complete, really quick disclaimer, this is going to be really comparing it to the original Aventus. So I won't really fully dive into the notes, even though they're going to be listed there, just because it's really just designed to smell like Aventus. And just little disclaimer again, they do a pretty good job of it. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. Now, when you spray this fragrance on, this really does smell very, very similar to this little bad boy here, Aventus. And it smells so similar to the point where I'm looking at it and I'm just like, huh, this fragrance it blew my mind how much it reminded me of Aventus. And I sprayed them on both side by side and I was like, man, this really has that apple vibe. It's really got that vibe of Aventus right on the top of it. And as the fragrance kind of develops, that's where the fragrances start to, I guess you could say, they start to diverge a little bit in some of the similarities. This Aventus, the original Aventus, has a little bit more smokiness that kind of comes into the vibe. You start to get a little bit more of a variation, whereas this fragrance, you really kind of get a muted opening, if you will. Like the opening really starts to die down. It's a linear fragrance. The strength of the fragrance just really begins to die down. You start to get a little bit more woods in this one as well too, but there really isn't a huge difference between the top when you spray it on and the difference when you're actually in it. Now, one key difference in this fragrance is the fact that this fragrance on my skin lasts anywhere between 4 and 7 hours, which is a little bit on the lower side. I would barely consider it good in terms of the long-lasting performance with this fragrance, but I can see how some people have said that it doesn't last as long, and I can see that. Does kind of make sense, but the way that it initially smells and the way that it smells on your skin at the time, I have to say it's pretty damn close to Aventus, which is a really good positive thing. Now, another good thing that it has going for it is the fact that it's so inexpensive. This fragrance you can find it for $25 online. It's between $25 and $40, but it's inexpensive, and for that reason, when you compare it to Aventus, you know, it's really hard to justify paying the $300, $400 plus dollars, whereas you can spend $25 on this and get a fragrance that smells 85, 90% like Aventus, and you know, just kind of has that vibe to it. So kudos to them. They did a really good job of creating a clone for this fragrance that I have to mention. So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give this fragrance a rating 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason, well, there are two reasons that I actually don't give it a perfect rating, is that one, obviously the performance. I mentioned the performance, it's not as good as the original Aventus. And two, it's a clone. I can't, in my heart of hearts, give a perfect score to a fragrance that is a clone of another fragrance. Yes, I get that they, you know, came out with a very similar scent and really cut down the price, but I still give points to creativity, and the fact that Aventus came out with their, with Creed came out with their fragrance, and it's been such a rock star, is a testament to them. And I would, in my revised fragrance rankings, I would actually have Aventus at a 5.0, a perfect 5-star fragrance, where I would put this one at a 4.5. So just keep that in mind, kind of, as you're going about things. Now, at the end of the day, I will probably use this fragrance as a temporary replacement for my Aventus. My Aventus is running out. You can see I'm at about half of the bottle for this fragrance, and you know, I never want to run out of this fragrance because I don't want to shell out another $400 for Aventus. So, you know, it is what it is. It'll be there, and I'll probably now use this as my primary. But if you were to say to me, you know, money is not an option, which one would you have? It's Creed, you know, Creed's Aventus. But if you're saying to me, you know, I'm on a budget or something along the lines, I care about price, I would actually have to kind of pull you towards this fragrance just because the price difference it's nothing to sneeze at. It's a real thing, and I can understand why somebody would choose this over Aventus with price in mind. All right, so with that said, that's pretty much it. Let me know what your thoughts are on Club de Nuit Intense. Always curious. Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.